Hey guys, welcome back to the Theory of Three. My name is Austin. I'm sitting here with both of my brothers, Curtis and Philip. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great, wonderful day out here in the middle of the COVID crisis. Still, however long it goes. But yeah, I one of the things that we wanted to talk about on this podcast specifically is a conversation we had about public interactions. I think, Curtis, you had like a funny story that happened to you recently.
Yeah, well, I think I had one. I worked on a feature in Kansas City back in 2015. And while we were shooting at these apartment complexes, I was having lunch, and I was sitting in the back of the grip truck, and this guy pops his head out from the window and goes, "What are y'all shooting?" And my typical response, which we'll talk about here in a second, is we're shooting a mayonnaise commercial, is what I always say. And he goes, "Oh, are you guys shooting porn?" And I'm like, "No, we're not shooting porn." He goes, "No, you guys are shooting porn, are you?" I'm like, "No, we're not shooting porn." He goes, "No." And he yells down to his neighbor, which is sitting on the porch. He goes, I don't even remember the name. He was like, "Hey, they're shooting porn." He's like, and the guy, so the guy that's yelling is probably in his 50s, and the guy that's down there is probably in his 60s. He goes, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Where?" And so it was like 2 or 3 guys that ended up coming over, and I was like, "Dude, no, we're not shooting. We're shooting just a scene." They're like, "You guys shooting porn? Can we see them? Can we see them?" I was like, "Oh God."
Wow.
But that's one of the things is like I was talking about, because I was on a shoot last week, and a guy walked past and was like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And I was like, "We're shooting a mayonnaise commercial." And my grip that I'd worked with, he was like, "Where did you guys come up with the mayonnaise commercial? Where do you keep saying that from?" And I was like, "I don't know, actually. I actually don't know where I don't know. It's just so ingrained in my memory that we're just like, that's what you say if someone asks you what's going on," which is like interacting with the public. You don't, for privacy reasons and also just the privacy reasons of the production company, you absolutely do not say what the production is or where it's going or any of that stuff. That's up to their discretion.
You also don't want them sticking around.
Exactly.
Appearing in the set.
And who if we're shooting on location, who wants to say, "Yeah, Holly Berry's in there. We're shooting a commercial with her," and they're gonna go, "Oh, can we meet her?
Can we go in?"
Which is nothing against, but like she's working, we're working, so we don't want
keep it professional.
Yeah.
Now, like I do know that like on larger sets, I mean, obviously they have like full security.
PAs.
PAs will never see these people in those cases. But like on smaller commercial shoots, even if you have like B-listing actors, there's just an overwhelming amount of people that just ask that stinking question.
Especially if you're in a city landscape.
I know when I shot, I was on this commercial for Walmart and had Kristen Bell and her husband Dax there, and I being an AC, like obviously there was 2 PAs on that whole thing. I mean, obviously there was a ton of assistants for like the actors.
The assistant to the director.
Well, sort of. Like it's like no, I mean, like the talent agency was there along with Kristen Bell, and obviously they had like a whole entourage of people
there.
But they weren't on set, and set was like out in the public area. And I remember it became like, as soon as it was revealed that they were there, it was just like a mass of people that like flocked to, and all of them were asking what it was. And I think in that instance specifically, we weren't allowed to say what it was, so we just pretty much just said like, "Oh, I don't know." That was the statement. And I again, it was a discretion thing that they specifically asked us to say, just, "You don't know."
Why didn't they just shoot it at night?
Because they wanted real people's interactions. That was the idea. They were filming actual people in the background.
And you don't want to shoot at night because then it would just be drug addicts and druggies,
meth
heads and drunk people going into the food. And then you're like, "So what do you guys think?" I'm like, "Hi."
I'm a giraffe.
Yeah.
Just like walk by.
But what cracks me up, I think what is interesting is I feel like we talked with Scott McClanahan about this, and you said this right before the podcast.
Yeah.
I think he came up with it, or we talked about it, because it was like the most like uninteresting. Who wants to stick around and watch a mayonnaise commercial being shot? You know, it's like
and there's that one creepy dude that's just like, "I want to watch him spread that mayonnaise all over that bread." Just do it slow.
Yeah. I mean, every single time that I've said it, I've gotten very mixed reactions.
Like,
you either have the guy that's like,
it's confusion.
Oh, okay, and then walks on and like looks back at you like, "Oh, he's lying." He's lying.
Expecting the 2 like naked actors to walk across. Like, "I knew it.
I knew it was porn." But that, or you get the guy that goes, "Oh, really? What brand?" And I'm like, I just know it's mayonnaise. That's
like mayo, dude.
It's mayo, bro. Am I supposed to know everything? Yeah.
Sniffs cocaine.
But that was always funny to me, and I just wanted to bring that up in a sense of it's just hilarious to have the public interactions with either the crew members or something like that, because usually we have security or there is security, we're blocking roads often. They're a long ways off. We don't have to really worry about it.
And then you get the random one that yells halfway across the parking lot, "Hey, what's going on over there?"
Yeah. I will say that Philip, I think you'll remember this, but shooting in New York, the one thing I appreciated about that is the fact that, I mean, people, they saw a camera and it was just like a group of people running around filming stuff. They didn't give a beep. Like, I beeped myself, yeah. They just didn't care.
We also went, when we were out and about, we really sized down. And
oh, yeah, we were
skeleton.
running gun.
You guys look like vloggers.
Yeah, we look like vloggers.
Pretty much,
Nobody cared.
No, I fully think that obviously the size of the crew is gonna like heavily depend. And I think in our culture now, especially, dude, going to LA, it was like every 30, 40 feet you see somebody walking around with a camera, right? And people are vlogging, people are filming this. I saw like at least 10 different people walking around with Reds. I know I at least saw 2 people with Alexas that I sat down and talked with. One had a Mini. And it's just like, it's commonplace there. But when you go outside of anything that is either LA, Atlanta, or New York, it becomes like kind of a celebrity of itself, because you go anywhere, oh, what are you doing? Well,
it's a Midwest thing.
Yeah, it's a Midwest thing for sure.
Cracks me up. People's what people get interested in, and then they will stick around to watch. Like, we've had people just stick around for
crowds
hours.
for hours. Yeah,
sit in their cars.
Yeah.
We filmed in what was it, Columbia, Missouri? Is that where we filmed? And we were in a park. We were shooting in that park. And there was that family that sat in their car for like what felt like an hour and just watched.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, do you not have any, like, what?
We were shooting on a pretty busy street in here in St. Louis, and I'm walking in and out, and my grip's like, we've got eyes in the sky. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I look up, and there's like apartments up above, and there's like 4 people just sitting out on their balconies, like just watching what we're doing down there. I was like, oh, wave up at them, and they wave back, yeah.
What's worse is if you ever do like an indie project where you don't have the budget for crew or like security and whatnot, and you're panning around, you see these random people in the back like, oh,
those random people standing right next to your gear set, like looking down, like,
it's like you watch finished product, you're like, wonder what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's not staged, that's real. They're turning around looking at you because they want to know what's going on.
Yep,
it's not fake.
Yep. But that's topic number 1. Topic number 2 would be music, and I wanted to talk about music with you guys in a sense of because my genres have been all over the place in a sense of finding something that either focuses me, or I want to either relax a little bit, or I want to just listen to music because it's in the background, and I lean more towards the genre of like movie scores in a sense of even game scores for that matter. Game scores,
sure.
God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, some really really good scores. But like, what do you guys lean towards?
Something I do for when I'm trying to write something or being creative, which I'm not very creative, but when I'm trying to write something, I listen to old classical music, like not necessarily classical, but I've
like heard of this,
60s, 70s, 40s, 50s, like Sam Cooke,
Sure.
I think there is something to it,
We grew up with Sam Cooke though.
Yeah.
Our mom would just blast that in the vehicle we'd be driving in. Yeah.
Like here, actually, I randomly pulled up something I was listening to earlier. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. But like I've gotten
Is this copyrighted? We've got tons
no.
of
This is
listeners.
not.
We got tons of listeners.
I know. We're gonna get copyrighted.
Oh, so much.
No. It sounds like this.
Atmosphere.
What is
Atmosphere.
that like? What is that like?
That's
Beta waves or alpha waves?
Beta waves and alpha waves. I've really started messing with that
thing.
because it's been a.
So you're a beta. It all makes sense. Oh my god! Wow, that was good. That was convincing.
No, I've really begun to realize that there is a a very specific level within us all that like subconsciously when you get into the vibe of something, it'll kind of drive you. I've noticed that in working out, I've started listening to like techno music, and I've always hated techno music. But there's something about modern techno with like deep bass and electric, and it's just this pumping drive, like
Sounds like blood.
yes, and it's just like I get into the rhythm of it, and while I'm working out, it's steady, and it keeps me steady.
Yeah.
This kind of music allows my brain to just relax, and I stop thinking about it, and it'll be in the background. It's the only kind of music that I've ever listened to that I can hear but not register. And that's so satisfying to me because I'm an extremely attentive individual because it's hard for me to even write if I'm listening to rap music because I'm going to want to start going with the beat.
I'm going to start singing to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just become a lot more difficult. Like I love listening to rap while I'm driving because it keeps me busy. But, this kind of thing is something I've added into like when I'm reading or, so on and so forth.
It also depends on how loud it is too. Like
Volume is huge, yeah.
If it's super loud, then and it has vocals, yeah.
Nice.
But then I do listen to a lot of scores. I listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of country, but
I've listened to so much country. It's crazy. And I think it's just the groups of
but
people that
I
hang
don't
around.
dislike any unless it's like ultimate screamo.
I will say,
I'm not a
Ultimate
fan.
Screamo is, well, it depends on the band. In a sense of, Thunder, hell yeah. I'll listen to Thunder every day.
How about
you mean
just
like
scream?
classical rock?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But the one genre I do not like is, unless it's like cold outside, is jazz.
Really?
I do not like jazz unless it's like that cold November, December, January time. And that's the only time I feel like jazz actually, because like it's just like a weird instrument, like I don't know, it's just like a bunch of but that's
So,
just
like,
my take.
Almost. Well, it's kind of the same thing that I listen to sometimes. It kind of randomly hits me. I listen to like vlog music. I don't know how bad that sounds, but it's like vlog music. It's like classical type of.
Well,
Yeah,
but
jazz-ish.
Yeah, jazz has got like a lot of trumpet. It's got a lot of like
Yeah.
keys and piano, and then drums and all that good stuff. But vlog music in the sense of like you're talking about like Casey Neistat type of like stuff. Like again, it's like driving.
Kind of.
music.
It's like
There's
that,
not,
that song "Honey."
Yeah,
It's that like exactly like that.
I can't remember the name of the band, but it's interesting, and I also think it's like I've gotten to a point where I like to just go with no music sometimes. If I'm wanting to focus, and I feel like that's should be obvious in a sense, but just having no music and just kind of with your thoughts and thinking about what you're trying to say is also super important without having anything in the background to distract you is good too.
Yeah.
And just listen to the thoughts that you're having.
Yeah,
sometimes dark, sometimes dangerous, but it's there.
Sometimes if I listen to music too much while I'm trying to write something or while I'm trying to, do any type of work, sometimes it'll just completely distract me. And I just have to pause it and then get that task done, and then I can go back to listen to music. It's like it takes too much of my brain.
Yeah.
I get that. Like, I don't know. I know that there are situations where, like, I think I've really started enjoying country music just because of the fact that I've been going to, like, bars. And there's just something so good about its atmosphere set.
Would you say country or more folk?
Folk country.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of, like, twangy country at all. I love folky country. I love
Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
that
it's
is
like
beautiful.
Yeah.
But like I think that it really comes down to where I'm at too. If I'm around a certain group of friends, then I'm automatically I almost attach a genre of music to them because that's what they listen to. And I feel very comfortable listening to all of them. There's only like I think metal and like hard screamo is the only thing that really bugs me. Like I love rock, I love metal in some instances, but yeah, I don't know. It just depends.
Is that some part of that revolve around rapport? Like, I know that we've had dealings in the past where we go around a certain group of friends and you change, not necessarily who you are, but
Sure.
What you listen to.
Like there's the one guy that listens to like One Republic and Coldplay and
you
Dragons.
that's all you hang around. That's
Yeah.
all the music you suggest to him, and then you go hang around with a bunch of other people that listen to nothing but country, and so then you're interested in country while you're around them. It's just does some of that have anything to do with building rapport while you're around them?
To me, it's like it doesn't matter. If like we go hang out with let's say Matt, for example, he doesn't go out of his way to listen to country. I don't think he will listen to like the bands we just talked about and even more stuff that I don't even know. Yeah. But that being said, I'm not going to suggest to him that I'm not going to send him a song and go, hey, what do you think of this new country song? Like that's just not going to happen. But country comes natural to us because our grandpa, anytime that I've got that memory stuck in my brain, that's all he had in his truck was country music. So if I smell grass or I'm on the farm, it's country music. That's just how it is. And that's what I associate that with. You know, it's like I'm fine with country. It just depends on what the song is. And again, not all country is the same, but there are some very, very good songs that are written by country artists that are really, really good. Yeah. But it just all depends. And I don't think it does. It may do something with rapport, but I don't think it's about just fitting in. I just think that you don't, you want to fit in, or you want to associate the music with, with the people that you want to hang out with. So it is what it is.
And it does determine on what your purpose is for it. I mean, every instance is different, whether you're working out, or you're trying to study, or you're just being with friends, or you're looking for a party, or you're trying to create like a wedding mix. Like, you know how, like, you have to decide what it's for. And I know that it affects like everybody differently creatively.
Yeah.
And there's certain music genres that I'm more creative in than others.
Music in general is so influential.
It is.
If you take the science down, I don't know it, but super influential.
It shapes,
it does shape what you do.
Definitely. Like
how you feel.
Exactly. Like I know that there are some people, this is so weird. I know that there's been studies done that show that there are certain kinds of people that when they listen to like rock and screamo, they actually have their heart rate lowered, and then other people are just the opposite effect. It's because like it's about like, I guess what's the phraseology? It's conditioning. Your brain gets conditioned to a certain type of music, and I know that for me, I've started to realize I can't watch the same kind of show back to back to back. I can't watch a bunch of horror films back to back to back. I can't listen to country music for like 6 days straight without mixing it up with things. I can't dress the identical same way every single day, otherwise it drives me nuts. Does that make sense?
Well, I can do that.
It's this variety concept that I know for me, and again, everybody else is different. They could listen to the same music every day, all day. But I've noticed that because I'm around a lot of different people that are from different backgrounds and like different kinds of things, that I've begun to enjoy just all of those different things, like all these different aspects, because I seriously cannot tell you how much I used to hate country music. I hated it. But now I absolutely love it. There's something so unforgiving and unfiltered about it that I don't have to think about it. I just enjoy it. And I don't know, it's just like a new normal
for however much it's worth.
Exactly. Like yeah, there's like absolutely dog levels of country music, in the same way with rap. Like each genre has its own, crap into the gutter chute, but it still has taught me to appreciate other industries and other sounds.
Yeah. I think country music is like what gets it. If you have someone that doesn't like country music, they won't even touch country music. And if you have someone that loves country music, it's hard to get them to listen to really anything else.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because there's so much other good music out there.
I watched a film about a month ago starring Johnny Depp, and he plays a gangster from like the 1950s.
Black Mass.
What's it called?
Black Mass.
No. He plays a gangster. It's like a standalone film. This is like early 2000s.
Well,
this is a full movie. It isn't a show. It is a standalone.
In Florida, is his brother part of the Senate?
No.
Senator?
No.
Okay.
It's a really weird thing. He ends up being killed at the very end, but it's a story of this gangster.
Nice spoiler alert.
Like, yeah, I know. But like, he has absolutely, it's the whole era of it. I remember watching the film. I didn't know if I was going to like it. I love it now. But as soon as I got done with the film, I just started listening to more of that style of music, like the 50s big band swing and so on and so forth. It just set that mood for me. So I don't know.
Who played Al Capone?
Al Capone is played by. There's a new film coming out, which I'm actually really excited for.
It's a transgender woman
in a wheelchair.
Wow.
No, it is played by Tom Hardy, and he plays Al Capone.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Dude, it's so good. That man is
good.
Tom Hardy to me is one of the actors
He's the bane of actors, isn't he?
Dude, I like him. He's just cool.
He's a really cool guy. Yeah. So, any other shows you guys have watched recently?
Well, I want to. let's talk about. We can get in the shows here in
Sure,
a second,
what?
but I wanted to talk about consistency. There's a guy that I watched. There's a channel on YouTube. I can't name the name of the channel, hilariously, but there's a guy. His name's Simon Sinek, Sinek.
Yes.
So he did this talk, and he was talking about consistency. He was also talking about leadership. And the points he was bringing up was absolutely astounding. I would recommend, before I go and try to ramble on about what he said, just go watch it yourself, because he said it very more elegantly than I will. But basically what he was saying was that the idea of leadership and the idea that when you fall in love with someone, plus when you do anything consistently, it's not a matter of you believing in what you're doing, it's that you're believing in the process of it. And he was talking about, he's like, you go to a gym and you work out for a day and you come home, look in the mirror, you don't see anything. You don't see the progress. But then you go back to the gym, come back, you look in the second day, you don't see progress. And then you're like, I'm done. There's no progress. He's like, but if you keep doing that consistently throughout X amount of months, he's like, at some point, there's not going to be a specific day that you're going to go, I'm in shape. You're just going to keep going. Mm-hmm. But he's like, but I guarantee you, one of those days, you're going to get in shape. He's like, one of those days you're going to get in shape. And he's like, he was talking about when you, same thing with a relationship. He's like, there's no point where your wife is going to go, he's like, she didn't know when she fell in love with you. He's like, it's just over consistency of days that it was just like, it's the consistency of being there, that it was just like, oh yeah, it's the same thing, which was interesting to me. And voila. Yeah. The same. Yeah. But he was talking about how, he was talking about that. Plus he was talking about how individuals or people can only be close friends with 150 people. Mm-hmm. And that, max. And the only way they decided that, and there was a name for it. It's like it was a guy that invented this theory, which is a very, very, go watch the video.
Why 150 people?
Well, he said it's the 150 people out of all the studies they did, 150 people, the 150 people were the only people they would, if you walked into a bar, if the person walked into the bar and you already had people sitting with you, they would be someone you would invite to sit down with you without being invited. He's like, there was only 150 people they would do that with out of X amount of studies. Yeah, max. And so they were saying that even as a CEO, and they were talking about businesses, even as a CEO, a company that has over 5,000 or 6,000 employees, he's like, you can never know every employee. And he's like, a CEO that says, I care about all of my employees, he's like, you don't know everybody, you don't know every employee. And to say that every employee is good is like just but he's like, what you can do as a good CEO is to be there for your seniors, and then tell your seniors, I'm here for you, and I want you to pass that on to the people that you're in charge of. And then it just keeps trickling down to the people that are the masses, which is where the thousands are. And those thousands look at their boss, whoever those 150 are, and go, that's my boss, he has my back. And that was an interesting dynamic of that whole consistency.
Well, that's true leadership. You're
true
actually
leadership.
like,
yeah. But it's the idea that consistency also builds leadership, in a sense of that, you've got just a repertoire of doing it. And that was another thing, like, it also it struck me, because I've been trying to do either post more on Instagram and post on LinkedIn and do all this stuff, and just even get more social media stuff out there. And it struck a chord. It was like, yeah, I've only, you only do it for X amount of months or years. Gary Vee was saying that he did the wine business for 15 years, and then started doing YouTube and started doing videos for 8 years, and never saw anything out of it. And then he just recently sold his wine business to like one of the biggest, or the biggest, wine company in the world.
Wow.
I don't know how much he sold it for, but I would love to see that check. But it was the consistency. He's like, you're not going to see the results in 6 months. Maybe you won't see the results in 2 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. He's like, you believe in the process, and you believe that the actions that you are taking are affecting something, and that's what will drive you to get there, which is amazing.
You believe in the long game, not the short game.
Yeah, which is what Gary Vee says.
Right.
Yeah, he believes in the long game, or the long term, instead of the short game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Macro instead of micro.
Yep. But that's a tidbit for this week. Go watch that video. It's on YouTube. Simon Sinek. Am I saying that right?
S-I-N-K.
S-I-N-E-K is his name. Go watch it. It's a great talk. It's like a 7-minute talk. Great stuff.
Nice.
I've seen some of his stuff quite a while back, and the dude's
He's phenomenal. Yeah, he's good.
Smart.
Yeah,
Oh
very
yeah,
smart.
he's like Jordan Peterson, but a little different.
Yeah.
Is he practicing? He's not practicing. I mean, he's a business owner, but I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know that much about him. Honestly.
No, he's smart.
Yeah. But what were you saying about TV shows?
No, I was just asking if you guys have watched anything recently because I have literally seen nothing.
Same. Nothing.
Like, I've just been so uninterested in... Like, I know that the Warner Brothers is starting, like, production on 3 different things. I know that Jared Leto is in conversation to be on a sequel for Tron. Dude,
That would be a throwback.
I remember watching Tron for the first time, and I'm not going to lie, for those that don't like it, I loved it.
Tron? Oh, yeah.
Tron. I just love the concept of it. I think the visuals, like the world building, everything. I thought it was dope. But like, I'd be curious to see what they're intending to do if they're either A, rebooting it, or B, which is hopefully the more likely, a sequel.
It's interesting to see franchises. I watched a small TV show. It had one season, and it was the worst first season. I'm just talking about this, all right? Not gonna rant about it because it was just terrible.
What was the name?
I don't remember. It was that bad, but it was kind of like it was a wannabe Witcher, or like a wannabe
Chosen?
yeah. But what
Was it called Chosen?
did it have? The old. It's with the.
no.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even remember it.
Wow.
But what I'm trying to say is that if you look at franchises who have that way of expressing in whether it's a book or a TV show, expressing a world, right? So Tron wasn't as big as, let's say, Game of Thrones, right?
Sure.
The world of Game of Thrones is huge, and the way
very in-depth,
the way they expounded upon it was very, very well done. And when you go and you see these knockoffs, their worlds are just tiny
They feel
in
small.
comparison.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting, comparison.
What was the name of that show that Grimm? The Grimm.
Yeah.
Grimm.
That show.
Yeah.
That to I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't get the sense, like, he was talking about small, like, lore. There was lore in it, but it wasn't expounded upon as in Game of Thrones. Like, if you watched the first season of Game of Thrones, you felt as if the world, you only saw snippets of a world that you wanted to know more about. You know what I mean? Like, you were talking about the faraway west, you were talking about deserts and Khaleesi and all this stuff, and then, like, they're just bouncing all, like, the wall and all this stuff.
It also made characters feel like they're a million miles away.
The world felt bigger, and like the depth of the characters and the depth of, like, the languages and the art and the just the overall world felt real.
It's also like located in they put it, if you ever look at the map, it's exactly like it's close, but it's like England, and then it's like the Wales and like Spain, and like it's exactly the same way, and it puts like a place in everybody's mind that they can say, oh well, that looks like X, and then they're like imprint.
And it also could be that they showed that intro is like floating around the whole world as well. Like, you're showing that whole thing. But Grimm felt super small in a sense of, like, the
Even though it was just out of Seattle, it did feel like
it felt
was
small.
Well, it's like they were being affected by people that were in Germany, and then it was just like, okay, well, then how far does
exactly.
this go? Like,
It's kind of like how all of the CW TV shows are. They're just no backstory, no. I mean, there's some backstory, and that's what they think is lore. Is backstory, and there's no immersion.
No. The thing is, lore is not something you talk about. Lore is something you either see or in the architecture, which is in, like, the actual art of
it's passively said.
Exactly. Like, you're seeing modern art in a sense of that you're seeing art, and then you can see older stuff that's built that looks older than the stuff that you're seeing that's supposedly new, and that's what makes it. That's what, even Lord of the Rings. Like, you could see older statues, older monuments, and then you see the new, and you're like, okay, this whole universe, this whole mindset and theory and theology behind it.
Harry Potter.
It's been there. Yeah, exactly.
Same.
You felt like a world.
And again, like, in my opinion, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, you still feel like you never explored the rest of the world. It still feels like there's plenty more to explore.
Yeah.
Because
the way it's all of those movies,
the way it's developed,
you still want to
is just huge.
Because they don't put a limit on us.
Right.
The reason why Grimm feels small is like they say Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like it doesn't.
The story revolves around one location.
It feels like it. Like every single episode is like in Seattle, and it revolves around that. And and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, and Grimm's, it's good. It's just that talking about the idea that when building a universe like that is very, 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 very hard, and it feels like they're writing the scripts as they're making it, as a scene versus Game of Thrones up to season 7.
It felt like Game of Thrones did.
Blah.
It felt like they created season 1. They had a detailed overview of season 2, season 3.
They already had books,
and then but I mean that's the reason.
Yeah.
But when you do like I don't forget what TV show that was non-book, not from a book, but like they had all that backstory, and they knew it when they shot it, so there was no explanation. It was just show and tell.
Yeah.
And it's just so much information, backstory that was just free.
Yeah. Yep. The languages,
it wasn't
all of that
forced.
Stuff. Exactly. Lord of the Rings, like they've got different languages. They got Dwarven, they got Elvish, they've got different subsects of Elvish. They've got Intish. They've got like all of this stuff. Even if it's only for 5 seconds on the screen, it makes it feel so more expansive. Because it's like, a different language, a species we never even heard of, and they have their own language and they do their own thing.
It's playing off curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's the same way.
Yep.
Anything else? Oh, hopefully, again, I feel like we've said this like 100 times. Hopefully this will be the last time we do this one solo mic.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We will have all of us our new mics. They're supposed to be in Thursday.
Yep. We're gonna have beanbags. We're gonna have beer, and it's gonna be good. Right?
Yeah, and that's one other thing I want to do. We need to drink beer when we do this.
We just that's how we're gonna start all these podcasts. We're gonna pour like a glass of whiskey each, clean, start and go.
Yeah.
That's how we want these to happen.
I think the best part of it is that we start with jokes. I think like we take snapshots of jokes throughout the day, and then we literally sit down and or throughout the week, because we only do this once a week, but then we just show each other and we just start laughing, and then that's when we start. It's like that kind of break the mood in a sense, because these chairs, I will tell you right now, are uncomfortable. Have you ever been to a wedding? You've been ever to a wedding and you're like,
you're sitting so far upward that you're actually leaning forward.
You just want to get out of the chair. These are one of these chairs. Absolutely one of these chairs. But
fun times. But yeah, guys, no, seriously, thank you for joining us on this podcast. We really appreciate that you would, take time to listen. Please do, follow us on Instagram and definitely check out the other podcasts that we have. They're pretty much anywhere that you can find podcasts. But yeah, again, thank you, and please stay safe considering all of the craziness that's out there. But yeah, all right, guys, peace.